I'm a champion in the community. First, I will want to really commend Spring and the organization that puts this together. But by and large, I want to know first from the mapping of the local governments you indicated in Kaduna State. If we could go back, I saw Bredingwari, I saw Chukun, and Andigabi. So for places like Giwa, that has these violence, and places like no, Bredingwari is there already. Places like Kaura, Kaujuru, that has these same issues. How do you intend to do away with such issues? Secondly, here in Kaduna, Suluhu say the Aldelchi. Here in Kaduna, we have a group that say Ba Suluhu. How are you going to embed them into this Suluhu of a thing? Because looking at the participants here present, I don't see any member of such group, because if they are here, that will continue. So maybe we'll bring them up to speed to be a part of this. So for now, those are the things, and I think from the beneficiary of this project, they should be part and parcel of it too. Likewise, the farmer herders should be a part of the beneficiary, not we, the NGOs and other clusters, as presented by the, the project. Thank you.
We really thank you very much for this brilliant question. And we can also say this is something that we are learning from it. And it's our first step. And before now, we have done some of our own need assessments where we are able to identify these key LGS. And it's still subject for more expansions. That's why we are here. Your recommendations are highly welcomed in these our sessions. And we assure you that this is just an 8-month pilot project, which we want to open a window of how we can be able to bring in more stakeholders, more relevant communities to this programming. However, our efforts are still ongoing to see how we can be able to maximize our effort of expansion of the program. So the doors are still open, not closed. So as we keep engaging, Professor Sanito will be having some more engagement with you in this time in this line particularly. Yes, especially for the mapping that you just mentioned. We'll map more locations in the due time. And please recommend to us also during the group work that we'll be doing. And also regarding the Basuluhu group, actually, I think we can say it's an oversight. We didn't know them, we are just knowing them. So definitely we'll see how we can also include them in our own program. Why are they saying Suluhu Babu? Which is also equal to Boko Haram, right? Like Babu Boko Shine Boko Haram, right? So we also like to know them and then see how we can also hear from their views that can impact this particular program. Yes. And lastly, we'll be having some more engagements in these our sessions, which we can open a window for people to make more comments, input to our program, since we are just starting. So we can be able to learn from your various experiences. That's why you are highly respected stakeholders. We respect you esteemingly, and we want to collate all of your views regarding this particular peace building and alternative dispute resolution program that we bring into this Kaduna. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir, for the presentation. Good morning once again. Musbah Mukhtar Ashir from YCDI. I just want to have clarity on the Sulhu Seda Adalchi. What does Sulhu Seda Adalchi mean? Is it compensating those affected by kidnappings and banditry? Is it holding to account those who perpetrate these crimes? Or is it having a sit down with the culprits and find a lasting solution, understanding with them? Because I understand peace is peace, the silence we hear, or is peace, does it come with justice? Because you find out that in the past few weeks we've had news of Suluhu with bandits in is it Katsina or Niger, and you see them appear with fully armored and everything. So what is Sulhu Seda Adelchi? I would like to have clarity on that, please. Thank you. I'm sorry, what the organization is doing to help?
Thank you very much. I will just briefly talk on Sulhu said adultery so that the impact that we have created through that manual. But the manual, it's been developed by Professor Sani and his colleagues, whom they were able to use all of their time to see that that manual is being implemented and it has succeeded in recording some successes. If you say why, in northern Nigeria, that is Northeast Nigeria, the conflict was worsening to the apex level, and then it gets to a point where the security agencies are fully being overwhelmed, and a lot of measures were put in place by different architectures of government. At the tail end, it was a presidential directive to find non-kinetic means of resolving the conflict and to see how people can be engaged, to identify interlocutors, and then to see how they can all speak on peace. And you know, you can never win a war with the fire to firearms, except you all come to a table. There in the Northeast Nigeria, within the groups of the different groups of Boko Haram, we have ISWAP, we have JAS, and other group as well. There were some few elements of them that see peace is the only pathway than the conflict. And they use through the means of the dialogue. Some of them return back to communities. How did they return back to communities? They return back through a government facilitated programs or rehabilitation program to change their mindset, to also make them feel a humble community servant, other than the way they were being brainwashed before now within the crisis. And of course, since community leaders and community members were a bit furious about this, some certain actions of the government, accepting those who are returning from the communities, was to engage people through these alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, to discuss with them, to also rethink of the peace is more better than keeping people in the bush and keep fighting. And in this aspect, people that were returning from the bush were categorized into dangerous and the less dangerous people, who you can say those that have perpetrated violence are being kept under the military custodies to face their own justice, while those that were just being forced into the atrocities or maybe being abducted and being subjected to fight within their people. So these people were also being given the window of forgiveness, and they also did some part of local justice mechanisms. We can say some have contributed in building some structures within communities, just in order for people to see how they can forgive them in their own past atrocities. And also some have done some community drainage works, drainage construction, drainage clearing works, in order for people to see them, they have remorsed, they have regretted their past atrocities, and they were being forgiven. Because people also see that these people, if they were not forgiven, they will still return back to the bush and continue fighting. And fighting, if it keeps happening, there is no gain for anybody, and there's no win-win solution to this. So for the purpose of win-win solution, so community members will also be sensitized, dialogue to engage them, to understand that accepting these people is more better, and also to also collectively think of how best locally led transitional justice mechanism can solve some of the grievances. So since these people have not killed people, they were just have been abducted and forced into the groups. So now they were being forgiven as a result of some of the key engagement and transitional justice work that they have done in those communities. And this thing happened as a result of the platform of the alternative dispute resolutions that was led by the community leaders, which is a locally led transitional justice mechanism, because community members have to look into how they will think how they will forgive these people. It is up to them to decide in their own platforms to see how they can forgive them. Because even before some of them are being reintegrated into the communities, they were being engaged, the leaders on this in that community, to understand that these people are coming. Do you think you will accept them? Yes, we accept them based on these conditions. The conditions were fully laid on ground, and for these people to also follow the conditions. So this is how some of them, despite the fighting, they came back to their communities. Now they are residing, and they have mostly regretted their actions, and they are now humbly contributing their quota to their community development. So these are some of the locally led transitional justice implementation that was done through the community-led programs. So in this aspect, traditional leaders and religious leaders are very key, because they are the one looking into their people's needs, and also they are the one also increasing the volume of advocacy of how peace can be maintained and how stability can also be built within those communities. And let me give a chance for Professor Sai to also say one or two keywords in terms of this document.
Okay, yes, it is an excellent question, and it kind of gets us to do what we historians call police story. Police story begins at the end. Somebody is murdered and is reported to the stations, and the police now will start to reconstruct how did this crime come to be.